Hey friends, it's Carol, Saltbox Stitcher, back for another video. Fun. So, this is episode number
69.
69.
Happy Mother's Day.
Oh. Happy Mother's Day. Oh, that's not really from him. I have had a super busy last couple weeks since we talked, and I have lots to show you. And I always do this. It's like, well, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? And then I end up talking for an hour, and who knew? So,
welcome to my world.
He's the talker, not me. He really is. He'll just chatter. He goes over to the neighbor's house to talk, and okay, he'll be gone an hour. Anyway, so we've had a really busy 2 weeks, and I'm just going to highlight a couple things that we did. My daughter and her husband had their 15-year anniversary, so they went out of town for a night, and we had the kids. Here's a picture of my grandkids. Don't be fooled, it's a cute picture. A half hour after that, they were both crying. One was afraid of the dark, so she was scared. And then Elijah was crying because she was bothering him and he couldn't go to sleep because she was crying. It's like, oh my. And then, what else? My granddaughter had her dance recital. And then was very fun, very fun. I'm in a I go stitch once a week, and that's at the quilt shop with some friends that I used to work with or that used to shop at the quilt store I used to go to. Some people sew, it's just kind of open. And then the other group that I go to, we're like an established group. We have a Facebook page and all that, and there's like 9 or 10 of us. And it was our 9-year anniversary. So now I started going to that group like a month after they started. So I wasn't a founding member. But the gal that most of our meetings are at her house. And she originally worked at the cross stitch store here in Jacksonville. And so we do have a cross stitch store. It's mostly needlepoint and knitting, but they closed for COVID and they have not reopened. Whatever. So, anyway, it was our 9-year anniversary, so we had a 3-day stitch-in. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, from 10:30 to 3:30, we went to one gal's house and had stitch-in anniversary. Everybody brought and contributed to our lunches. It was really fun. So this was the one, what he showed was a parting gift or a party gift, whatever that we got. It's a mixer type stuff. And then we also had door prizes. So a couple people got together and they downloaded, and this is a great idea if you're in a stitching group. They downloaded freebie charts that are out there from different designers, freebies, and then they bought the DMC floss to go with it, and then put it in packaging and everything. And so then you got to choose one of those. And so then we also chose names for the next year's celebration, of which we're going to do a project. We drew a name. I'm kind of rambling here, so follow me. I'll get to a point. We drew names for next year for our exchange, and it's either going to be something friendship or stitching. So we have a lot of fun together. And one of the people that's in the group is Susan Aki. And if you're not familiar with her, she's a phenomenal quilter and cross stitcher. And she is Yard Girl 60 on Instagram. So I think she has 9 books out. I asked her how many books she has out. Most of them are quilting. So I told her, I said, I've always wanted to just do a little interview with her, but we've never been able to kind of coordinate. But I am going to insert some pictures here of our group. So anyway, Susan is the blonde with the long hair, and her and I both brought some of our unframed pieces, and she's had her house filmed in a magazine. I think it was a American Patchwork and Quilting magazine. But anyway, long story short, she showed her latest Aurifils box. Now she's really big into Aurifils threads. Now this is cross stitch, so it's not her quilting. These are her Aurifils threads for this latest box, and I'm going to show you the box in a minute and the finished piece. She calls them reds, so I'll go with that. They're kind of peachy reds in my opinion, but she said, they're reds, Carol, they're reds. They come in this cute little box, and it's titled Rosso Rubino by Susan Aki. Here's a picture of the finished piece. So there's instructions how to get the chart. Doesn't come with the box, but the chart is available. So I think there's instructions in the box when you buy it on how to download the chart. And here's her finished piece. Are you seeing it? Yeah. It's called Rosso Rubino, which is Italian, which is where Aurifils is. It's Italian for ruby red. So that was fun. That was part of her show and tell. And then you saw in the pictures, we both had show and tell. Oh, here's one more color. So she does a lot of monochromatic pieces. If you saw the magazine article, she has a whole wall of her pieces. So anyway, I told her, give me that, and I'll mention that on my floss too. The other thing she's done, this was her first cross. There's more colors. I guess I need to keep them together because I need to give this back to her. Another thing she has done is this cute book called Christmas Countdown. I know it's not Christmas, but for those of you who might want to do some Christmas in June or July stitching, these are adorable. Now, I have the actual stockings here, so I'll show you. There are 24 mini stockings. I'm going to show you each one. So she gave each one of us that came that are in this group, she gave us a free book, which was very generous. So this is my book. So she does them on 32 count with 2 strands. However, you could certainly do it on 36, 40 count. Let me see. Let me get the order correct here because there's 24. So I didn't think to do this ahead of time. So 5. Okay, that's going to take too much time. I'm just going to show them to you. But there are 24. These would be adorable, like clipped on a some sort of a hanger over your fireplace or whatever. Now, her colors are brighter, but she could certainly change the colors. And she uses a lot of the gingham fabric. So here's number 24. These are all in the book. You do get a pattern for the stocking. Now, if you did it on a smaller count, you'd either have more margins on your cross stitch part, or you could trim down the size of the stocking. So that's number 24. This is number 5. These are definitely Susan's colors. She put the little tape measure hanger on them. I just think everybody should get this book. And I think at one point in time, I had talked to Teresa Kitten Stitcher about stocking the book, and she said she was going to look into it. So here's number 21. They're just adorable. So cute. And like I said, if you did it on a higher count, then you simply would, make smaller stockings or make the same size stocking and adjust the margins. Number 4, cute Santa Claus fabric. Number 22. Well, here's number 1. How cute is that? So the name of the book again is Christmas Countdown by Susan Aki. It's put out by Martingale. Ask your local cross-stitch store to get it. I'm going to keep showing these because they're so cute. Number 4. Number 18, Let It Snow. And of course, all of her stocking fabrics were just adorable. Number 12. Number 19. These would just be cute little pillows too if you didn't want to do the stockings. Just do little pillows and put them all in a bowl. Number 20. Number 3. How cute is that? And she put that on the back. Just adorable. She's got a great eye for color. She's very creative. She's very funny too. Number 2. Number 10. Number 9. I remember when she was designing these. Number 16. Number 11. 23. Like I said, it goes up to 24, but these aren't in order because I forgot to put them in order. 17. Isn't that cute? The bird with the ornament. Number 13. Very cute. 14. 15. 6. 7. And 8. And the other thing, I originally, when I saw these, I thought, well, that would be really cute if you do have grandchildren or a special child in your life, to make one each year for their age. Now, I'd have to do catch up because Elijah's almost 9 and Camille will be 7 this year. So I'd have to do 16 of them to catch up. But it would be cute to make a little ornament for them each year as they turn that age. So anyway, I just wanted to show you her things because she doesn't do floss tubes. So, you know, she really doesn't. I mean, other than Instagram, she's very prolific on Instagram, but she doesn't really have a way to promote her things where you can actually kind of see them close up. So anyway, that was very fun. We had a great time. My grandson then over the weekend had a tournament, so there were 5 baseball games. It's just been super, super busy. So I'm looking forward to next week. I don't have very many customer quilts to do, and finally, I'm going to be able to do some sewing and really get maybe some finishing, some things done. Okay, so I'm at 13 minutes, and I haven't really shown you anything of my own. So what have I been working on? Well, the first thing I wanted to show you was my finish on Lucy Calcott, 1825. Here's the pattern. Someone asked me to show things a little longer, and I get it. My trouble is I start to shake after a while if I'm just holding something up in the air. Lucy Calcott, 1825. You know, I've been working on this. My goal was to finish it in April. I finished it at 12:15 Saturday night, May 30th. But I'm going with an April finish because somewhere in the world it was still April 30th. Central Time would have been 11:15. So here's my finish. Can you see it all? Here we go. I love it. It's very, very colorful. Here's the top half, and yes, that is supposed to be blank up there under her name. Beautiful, vibrant colors. Not really my usual colors for a sampler, but how beautiful is that red house? Can you see it? And the trees. It's just gorgeous. So I mentioned that that's going to go into the pile of unfinished. I had taken a lot of my, not all, I have some smalls, but I took a lot of my unfinished to our stitch group meetup, and everybody's like, you need to show these on your floss tube. Now, I have shown them before, so for some people this might be redundant, but toward the end I'm going to show you my samplers that aren't framed. They're finished. I call them unfinished because they're not framed. The stitching is finished, but they're not framed. Someday they will get framed, I hope. At this point, it would take, a windfall or a lottery win in order to get them all framed. So I'll have to start doing it one by one. So that's fine. It is what it is. So, but I'll show you those toward the end. So I finished that in April, Lucy Calcott. And then I was like, well, what am I going to do next? I kind of, sometimes after I finish a big sampler, I kind of like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because I've been so into stitching that sampler or that piece, whatever. You memorize the symbols, all of that. You're just like, you're on a fast-moving train to finish it. At least this is how I am. So then I thought, well, it's Mania. I could certainly start doing patriotic. And I know Rachel, she Needle and Flax, she had a floss tube yesterday. And she talked about a lot of patriotic. I know Brenda, on Brenda and the Serial Starter, Brenda and Laura, she talked a lot of patriotic last time. But I'm not there yet. I can stitch patriotic all year round. But my next video, which would, let's see, today is the 7th. So my next video would be the 21st of May. And I know that's only 10 days before Memorial Day, and I get it. But that's when I'll have everything decorated, and I'll show a lot of my patriotic smalls. So my next, Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise, and I'm still here breathing, I will be showing patriotic. I do have a couple things that I'm going to show at the end of this. Now I've said 2 things going to be at the end. So what is the real end? Who knows? Maybe I'll just keep talking. Whatever. So I really was like, okay, what should I do? What should I do? So I decided, since it's Mania, I was going to do 5x5. What does that mean? 5x5 means I'm taking 5 samplers and spending 5 days on each one. Not necessarily a sampler, but a whip. I'm going to spend 5 days each on 5 different projects. Now, I know that only adds up to 25. I do know a little bit of math. So what am I going to do for the last 5 days, or the last 6 days, whatever it is? Maybe I don't know my math. 31 minus 25 would be 6. Okay, so the last 6 days. Well, if I stay focused and do this, then the last 6 days I can have a new start. Now, you know how I am about me bossing me, so we'll see how this works. But for the first 5 days, which ended Thursday, so I started on Sunday, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. See, I can use my fingers to count. My first 5 days I spent working on His Eyes on the Sparrow. I had this started. I was going to try to dig up pictures, and it's just too hard to go back to old videos and find out what was my latest progress and all that. But I was somewhere up here. I had done the border, and I'd done at least part of the peacock. So I've spent 5 days working on His Eyes on the Sparrow, and this is where I am. And I love it. This is on 36 count Heartland. Are you seeing it? It's really hard for us to see what you're seeing when we're holding it in front of the camera. 36 count Heartland by Picture This Plus. I've worked my way over to the beginning of the house. So that line next to that pot of flowers, above the letter R in sparrow, the first letter R is, that's the beginning of the house. Now, the border I've done halfway on the top and halfway going down the side. So technically that means I have a fourth of the border done. This one is so big, I'm going to do the border as I go and pray that everything works out. So anyway, progress. Did I say I'm using the called for flosses? They're overdyed cottons. I love this piece. I was inspired by Christy Crosshatch Quilts, who has recently finished Consider the Lilies, which I also have kitted. And I have a piece of Dusty Road by Seraphim, 40 count, to do that. And let's see here. Hold, please. So these are the flosses for Consider the Lilies. I don't know when I'll start this one, but I definitely wanted to finish his eyes on the sparrow first. So here are the flosses for his eyes on the sparrow. I think the cool thing that really kind of pulls me in is how fun it is to do these motifs. And not that they're a finish, but they're like a small finish, especially small ones. You know, you've got a flower, you have, a butterfly. Obviously this one is big, but not big, but bigger than some of the other ones. And there's a lot of fill in, it's an appealing stitch. I don't think I would ever do this monogamously. I think this is one of those ones that I have to just pick up occasionally. So that's why I'm picking 5 times 5. So what was the next one I picked up, you ask? So yesterday was the 6th of May. Today's the 7th, although I don't know when this will get uploaded. And it's interesting that I picked these big ones because I guess I just don't sit down and go back to them as much as a kind of a medium or a large sampler. Instead, rather than these great big ones. So I decided to pick up Anne Grimshaw. This is by the Scarlet Letter. It's a Quaker, has a lot of the motifs here, and then you have the multiple alphabets down here. It has a tiny bit of over 1. I think her name is over 1. And the date maybe way down at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to hold this for a while so everybody can see it. It's Anne Grimshaw, 1818. I started this one in 2018. If you've watched my channel for a while, a lot of these things are just redundant, but, it is what it is. Anne Grimshaw, 1818. So I picked it up. I am using Gloriana Antique Black. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I bought 4 skeins. I'm about out of this one. Yeah. And Gloriana is 6 yards of 12 strand. And it's a silk. I say that. So this is my progress. So I picked it up last night. I know Kitten Stitcher did this. Paulette's mother. Oh, what is her name? I can't remember. But she did it in red, and it was just phenomenal. She showed a picture on Instagram. So this is my progress. So last night I started working on the alphabet, and I got the whole line across. All I had done before was part of the A, which I had to pick out because it was wrong, and the B. So then I went ahead. So I had already moved down to the alphabet because of that one motif. So then I went all the way across. Now the rest of the alphabet's on the next line, but instead I'm going to move up with this corner motif and keep going. I'm using 36 count pecan butter by Lakeside. And like I said, I've started this in 2018, so I've had it around for a while. And I periodically will pick it up and work on it. After Christmas, I think I worked on it some. Again, I don't know what you're seeing. I love Quaker motifs. They're a little tricky because, especially if you're doing black, using black floss, because, in some instances, you have a stitch that's kind of out there, maybe 4 stitches away, and then you have to either, okay, am I going to carry my thread, or am I going to end it and just do that one stitch? So it can be a little perplexing. Big word there, perplexing. I'm on my game this morning. So anyway, this is half, and that's half. So I love it. Back around the time I started this, I was doing a lot of 36 count. Same with His Eyes on the Sparrow. Now I really prefer 40 count, but I'm okay with 36. I'm okay with it. So then, what are my choices for my next few pieces? Let's see. This is this basket. I thought I had kind of determined in my mind what I was going to do for let's see, I'm doing 5x5, so I have 3 more. So I kind of thought, well, okay, what am I going to do for numbers 3, 4, and 5? And I really haven't totally decided yet. I have 4 more. I have 4 more days to decide. One option, another one that's big, so, put some time into it, is another Scarlet Letter, Jane Atkinson. I love this. Love it, love it, love it. By Scarlet Letter, Jane Atkinson. Circa 1780. This is actually an adaptation. It says this needlework was designed after an English sampler in the collection of the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. It's similar to those on a sampler made by Sarah Brignall. So these are adaptations. They're not exact reproductions, but I don't care. It's beautiful. I've showed this many times. This is where I am on it. I love it. I think this will probably be number 3. I'm using 40 count lentil by Lakeside with the called for a Versoix. Soie d'Auger. These are the ones that come in the skeins. They're a little thicker than like the 103. They give you great coverage. So here again, I want to show it. Jane Atkinson by Scarlet Letter. So that one may be number 3 in my whole Mania 5x5. I'm running out of places to put things. Okay. So that's 3. So what's 4 and 5? Well, if I'm doing big ones, I might as well go back to Anne Uffendell, which is by Hands Across the Sea, Anne Tong Uffendell. I purchased this book when you could get both of them. In fact, I purchased 2 and I gave 1 away. Anne Tong Uffendell. I gotta hold it long enough so somebody can see it. A lot of people have been stitching this. I was watching, I can't remember her first name. Stitching in Costume. I'm sorry. I can't remember your first name. Anyway, I watched her video. I think it was from last weekend or so. I think it was still April when she made that video. I don't know. Don't ask me about any details. I would not be a good witness in a trial. Well, what color was he wearing? Well, I think it was blue. It could have been green. Maybe it was a blue-green. Did he have dark hair? Yeah, dark hair. Well, brown. Well, with blonde highlights. I would not be a good witness because I guess I'm not that observant. I don't know. I know about the big things in life. I just don't know details. Anyway, Anton Ufendel. I think this will probably be number 4. Again, I've shown you this one before too. I do have the outline of the border done on this one. Oh, you like that big wrinkle mark right in the middle? So I love this. I really want to work on it. I started to say that Stitching in Costume, she's been working on hers, and it's beautiful. She did some from the top, and she did some from the bottom. I thought that was brilliant. There is freehand embroidery. Somebody asked me what freehand embroidery. It's a padded satin stitch. So in other words, you don't really count crosses. You just stitch based on an outline, and then you. So that'll be a little tricky, but I'm okay with it. I may not be when I get to it, but we'll see. So that may be number 4 in my 5x5. There's also candidates for number 5. One of them is the Villages of Hawkrun Hollow. I kind of stagnated on this. I haven't worked on it on a while. I think this is on 36 count something. What did I do this on? It's a lakeside. It helps if you can find the last page of the sand dune. This doesn't look like sand dune to me, but it looks more like Meadow Rue, but I'm not sure. So that's a candidate for the 5th one. I have all the boxes outlined. I did that a couple years on Mania, but some of these I just need to get them done. I just love them. And, you know, they're not going to get finished just looking at them. You have to actually put some stitches in. So that's a candidate for number 5. Here's another one that's a candidate. This is way out of print. This is the Plantation Sampler. This is by Canterbury Designs. I guess I need to take it out of the plastic because that's a lot of glare. And I've already promised to pass this on. The Plantation Sampler by Canterbury Designs. This was actually a chart that was gifted to me when I moaned and groaned about not being able to find it. I'm using 36 count Vintage Beeswax by R&R. This is where I am on that one. So that's also a candidate for number 5. Did I hold this up long enough? I don't know. Plantation Sampler. I love the dark, and this one I'm using kind of a combination. I'm not sure where I got the conversion for this one. I really don't know. I don't remember. It's mostly NPI and a few DMC. So that's a candidate. Another candidate, and I'm kind of leaning toward this, not sure, is Louisa Coulamore by Hands Across the Sea. I have a small start, so 5 days, might not even make a dent. Although letters to me go pretty fast. Except there are letters that have, I guess it's a Scottish sampler that has all those little twirly things on it. Those aren't my favorite. This is all the farther I am on this. Although that is the full width of it. See those curly cute things on there? Not my favorite. Now these happen to be X's, but sometimes the curlicues are backstitch, and I really don't like them. So there we go. This one I am using a hank of Soie d'Alger color 2925. I don't know how people do that make it. I guess they cover up their face. Soie d'Alger. So it may take more than one hank. I have a couple in here, so I don't know. So that's a possibility. And the last one that's well, two. And I will decide when the day comes. I'm not going to stress myself out and then 10 days down the road I'll be like, well, what did I decide? I'm not going to do that. The next one is Jane Cowie by the Scarlet House. One of Tanya's great designs. Jane Cowie. And this one I'm also using, I say also because I was using NPI for Plantation Sampler. I'm also using the NPIs. And here's where I am on this one. This one I'm using, I have it written here, 40 count. 40 count Meadow Rue by Lakeside Linens. I've even started on the over one. So anyway, a lot of people fold the piece in with the good side in, the right side. I fold it the other way. And the reason I do that is because I have a friend who she rolls her side, she stitches in hand and she rolls the side of her piece. So you've got threads against threads, but she rolls it so that you actually had the wrong side touching the right side, and she had bleeding of the threads. It didn't get wet or anything, just after time. So if you have something that you're not stitching for a while and you have threads, matching threads, it could cause a problem. So I tend to do them with the right side out because that way they're not so tightly compacted with the right side in. That's just my opinion. People do it differently. And does it really matter? If you get it done, you don't need to know. And if you work on it consistently to get it done. So those are my options for my whole 5x5. Let me move some stuff around here. So what are my options for things I want to start during that last week? This is one of them. I don't have the threads in here. This is one that a friend of mine is stitching. Well, or maybe she's finished it. She had a little bit left to do when we were at our 9-year gathering. It's called Let Freedom Ring by Leela's Studios. It's gorgeous. It would be a wonderful one leading into Patriotic. It's mostly DMC with 3, 4, 5 Gentle Art and 1 Classic Colorworks. Now, the Classic Colorworks that it happens to be is Calico Kitty for the red. Calico Kitty is, the only time I've ever used it was on my Christmas Garden by Blackbird. It goes from like a grayish tan to a red to pinkish to grayish tan. she changed the red, and I believe I will change the red as well. I'm not sure if she changed it to Lancaster red or what, but I love this piece. It's another giant project. I think she ended up putting like her name somewhere. So she changed a little bit. Like America is in the flag. She didn't put that. She just did the flag. But I would love to at least start this in my my free week. And I have a piece of 36 count Eureka. She did stitchers on Eureka. I didn't have any 40 count. So this is by Fox and Rabbit. If I get the opportunity to get a piece of 40 count, I might. Or I may just stitch it on the 36. Bigger's better, right? Maybe. So that's a possibility for my last no start. Now I have to reach over here. What are some other possibilities for that last week? And that's only providing I stay with the rules of 5x5. Oh my. This is Elizabeth Furnace by Hands Across the Sea. There's some people already working on a stitch along on this. I love this as well. It calls for a 40 count sand dune by Lakeside. I have one piece of Lakeside sand dune and it's very orangey. I don't want orangey on this one. So I'm still trying to figure out what I would like to stitch it on. I have another thing that I started on 40 count. Oh, and with that I have the Avera Soie d'Alger. I haven't put them all in bags. I will eventually. I just like to do these big ones in silks. I'm not a snob. I just, like I told you before, they'll last longer at Goodwill. I have something I started on a piece of 40 count sand dune, and I may cut off what I started and use that. Not sure. Another candidate for a new start is Elizabeth Harding, also by Hands Across the Sea. I love this one. And this also calls for vintage or just sand dune. Vintage sand dune, which to me doesn't make that much difference if you have the color, whether it's that much more mottled. Vintage is a little bit more distressed or mottled, whatever you want to say. So again, this is Elizabeth Harding, 1791. I have a piece of 46 count sand dune, but there's a lot of over one in those words. And I have the Avera Soie, and to do over one with Avera Soie on 46, you'd really need to get the 103. Oh, it's raining. Interesting. I didn't know it was supposed to rain today. So I really want to get 40 count. I mean, I want to do it on 40 count. So I have a piece. This is the sand dune that I had that has something else on it. I have this piece of, oh, okay, give me a minute. What's this called? Aged Hazelnut by X Jude. It has, in the camera it doesn't look like it's the same, but it's really got a very similar tone. So, and it's X Jude is beautiful. So I'm thinking I might do Elizabeth Harding on this piece of X Jude. 40 count. I know, a lot of rustling and crinkling and all that good stuff. .40 count aged hazelnut by XJU Designs. So I may use that for Elizabeth Harding. So by the time I get to the last 6 days of May, I will have decided by then. We hope. So my next video, I will show you progress on some of these, and I'll also show you what I may be picking, you know, because some of them they're not set in stone. A couple more possibilities for that last week. One of them is floral motif. I've never done this. I have it all kitted with a piece of prairie grass by Seraphim. But this is that same type of, I guess you'd call it satisfying stitching, where you do a motif and then you kind of feel like you've accomplished something, or maybe do two in an evening if they're small. So this really appeals to me. This is Floral Motif Sampler by the Scarlet House. Quite a few people that have finished this one. I have it kitted with the overdyed cottons and a piece of prairie grass. Is that upside down? Yes, it is. Prairie grass by Seraphim. Now, I have gotten different prairie grass pieces and they're different colors. So, yours may not be the same color. I know there's dye lots, there's water, there's dye issues. You know. Another one that's a possibility is Margaret Croft. And this was part of the Schoolgirl Club. Did I show this last week? I think I did. I don't know. Getting really old and redundant. You know, people get older and then they repeat themselves. My grandmother used to do that. She lived with us for a while. Drove my mom crazy. Like, she's already told me that 10 times. It's like, okay, chill, Mom. Anyway, Margaret Croft. I guess it was important to you if you got to repeat it 100 times. And since this was a club, this was all packaged by Country Sampler. I don't know. You might be able to still get this kitted from them. I don't know. And then I have my big pack. This is way overpacked bag of beauties that I would love to start. I'm just going to flash these, okay? Harriet Goddard by Hands Across the Sea. Love that one. Mary Green. These are all kitted too, so they're ready to go. Cross Stitch Antiques. Mary Green. Maybe you can see it. I'm not going to take all these out of the bag. Beautiful. Lots of reds. Just gorgeous colors. I don't even know what I have. Oh, wait. That's a piece of straw. That's another option. I do have some weak straw that I could use on some of those ones that call for sand dune. Allison in our group was working. She's been working on this one. Jane Hopkins by Hands Across the Sea. Actually, I have that one kitted with Vicki Clayton silks. And I have a piece of... Oh, there's a piece of vintage sand dune. What do you know? I knew I had some more. Oh, Could be that I have enough in this fat half to do both of those. Wouldn't that be cool? How big is this one? 40 count. Oh, yes. 10 by 14. So I only need a fat quarter, but I might be able to arrange it. We'll see. Anyway, well, that's cool. It's amazing what you find when you look. Okay, what else? Hold on. I really want to start this. This is a Scarlet Letter, Elizabeth Cheatham. I think Rachel from Needle and Flax has started this. And I have this kitted with a piece of, it's an R&R. Winter Brew? No, Brenda's Brew. It's just a pretty neutral, kind of a light gray brown. So that one I have, that's ready to go. That's crazy. And then there's the, it's Speaking of crazy, I need the cuckoo clock going off now. Peacock, Unicorn, and Badger by Scarlet Letter. I think I'm going to do like Jen from Quirks and Stitches. She just did X's in that water. You're supposed to do satin stitches. Again, there's 2 people in my group that's the 9-year group that are working on this. It really becomes kind of motivating when you see somebody else working on it. This I have kitted with just a piece of Zweigart because basically it's full coverage. So you don't need a hand-dyed linen. This is 40 count light mocha. So that's somebody's favorite fabric. Who is that? I don't remember. One more thing. No, 2 more. Mary Wigglesworth by Hands Across the Sea. And Sarah Fletcher. These are candidates. These are probably better candidates. Because I could work on these 6 days and get quite a bit finished. Either one of these. That's a toss-up, because either one. They're both gorgeous. 51 minutes. Well, I'm doing okay. I didn't have very much mail. Hold on here. Something wrong with my right arm or left arm. Yeah, this is left. It's like, I don't know if I slept weird. You know, kind of like a stiff neck, only in my shoulder. Anyway, off the subject. I got an order from Needle and Flax, and I, like everybody else. Now, I don't know if these came in this last order because I've gotten a couple orders. But I waited just like everybody else, so don't go criticizing her. But one of the ones I was anxious to get was Delaware Crossing, which is a blue. There's a Plum Street one with a horse called Blue Skin, but any patriotic I think could look great on that. Even smalls, you know, I mean, if you have a couple that are blue with the red, white, and maybe a darker blue, it'll really show up nice on that. So, and it would be nice in the if you did a dough bowl, which I'll show you mine. I have it in my kitchen, patriotic all the time because my kitchen is navy blue and red. But that's one I wanted to show you. Also, Endora. This I didn't get on this last order, but this is a great one as a substitute for murky. I know Rachel showed the blackbird with the top hat, and I did mine on murky. Mine was actually a class, which, by the way, you just set it by, it's not a magic trick. You just set the little pin drum by the hat. Okay, Rachel? I was hollering at you last night. And then I got a fat half of Steinbeck, another one that is just, I think Rachel talked about, was it Summer Souvenir? It's another Blackbird book that's got a lot of patriotic, but this would be fabulous. Great color. Steinbeck. So I got, not necessarily these pieces, but I got an order from Needle and Flax. And the other thing I got, some of this maybe I shouldn't show. I don't know. Let me see if I can do it in a way that's... So there is a stitch along with Northumberland Sampler House. It starts June 1st. You can go to her Etsy shop and you can buy a lot of different combinations. You can buy the floss ring. You can buy floss ring tags for your threads. You can get the pattern and linen, or just the pattern, or just linen. Anyway, Northumberland Sampler House. Then the patterns will come as a PDF, and I've bought other PDFs from her too. But it's called the SSA, the Scottish Stitch Along. Yes, Scottish Sampler Stitch Along. S-S-S-A? 3 S's? I don't know. It's the Scottish Sampler Stitch Along. Go to her Etsy shop, and you can see what the chart looks like. I did buy the linen from her. I got the 40 count sandstone. How cute is that with the little tartan plaid ribbon? I did not get the floss. I have a lot of floss, and it is Let me see what the floss is, because once you order it, you get this little thing as a download, and then you can buy your flosses. They're all DMC. So I didn't get the floss, but I did get this cute little floss ring. Oops. Piece of fuzz, can't imagine. It's beautiful. I just urge you to go look. I'll try to link it in the drop-down box. Sometimes I forget to tell my husband, or I'll sit and try to think of all the things to put in the drop-down box, and then I forget. The other thing I got, and I didn't get this I got this a couple weeks ago, but I forgot to mention it. This again is an Etsy store. This is Sampler Bird. Sampler Bird Stitchery. Again, Etsy. It's Robin Chappelle. And it's this tomato scissor fob. And you actually get the instructions to make the fob. And I think you also get it to make the tomato. Yes. So you get the stuff to make the tomato and this and this. So this is on the back side of that. Does that make sense? I think. Very cute. Sampler Bird tomato scissor fob. And it's the whole kit to do all that good stuff. Beads, cotton for the top of the tomato, your floss, your sawdust, everything. Or not sawdust, it's crushed pine shells, crushed walnut shells. There we go. So anyway, got that. So I'm going to show you just a few patriotic, because I don't want to ignore that whole subject. And one of these may even be in my 5x5 rotation. This one is Teresa Kogut, Land That I Love. I love this. I think this came out 2 years ago. I think it came out during the pandemic, 2020. I love this. And I have the silks that I got from the attic conversion. But I also have a number of blues in here. I think I was having an issue with some blues. Because, blues can be either tealy or they can be more navy. So I just wasn't sure. So where's my piece since I started it? Hold on. I think Rachel mentioned this last night. Where is it? I think on Rachel's floss tube she mentioned, good gravy, Carol. Oh, here it is. She mentioned Alcott. I'm actually doing mine on a piece of hand-dyed by Teresa Kitten Stitcher. And this is my start. Not very much, just a little bit of the border. But that definitely could be one of the 5x5. I don't know. I think I'd rather wait and do it in June. Or work on it in June. Which, by the way, that Scottish sampler stitch along starts June 1st. So you don't get the patterns yet. You get them on June 1st. And I had a mix up with my email and I didn't get everything. And we had to kind of go back and forth. And it was kind of like, ooh, I want to do this. So don't forget me. The other thing I have that's a whip. Now I'm fumbling here. Hold on. Just give me a minute. Not a minute. Just a second. Is this Your Grand Old Flag by, this was a kit from Country Sampler. And I have it started. It's much darker linen that came with the kit than on the pattern. So here's the pattern, which kind of looks like a grayish. And here's my start. So I'm working on the house. But this I definitely will get back to this summer. And I'm sort of okay with it. I mean, it's my dark and dirty, and you know, I'm sort of okay with it. Sorry it's not better pressed. Did you think you were going to get a pressed look here? I don't know. And I have the grass finished. I'm just working on the house. So that'll be a nice, you know, I'm kind of tired. I want to do something that's kind of just fill in. So that'll be good. The other one that I've started, and I have no idea where this pattern is, because I may have gotten it as a download. Nope. Here's the pattern. Is Not Forgotten Farm, Flag Folk. I love this. Again, I got this as a Country Sampler kit. Oops, goes this way, right? Yes, this way. And that's where I am on that one. And that's on Murky, which is by Picture This Plus, but again, you could do that on Endora by Needle and Flax. This really does look like a rag my husband has out in the garage to change the oil. I mean, seriously. But they look so cool when they're done. It's like, who would imagine? So, barely a start on that one. Flag Folk by Not Forgotten Farm. So those are a couple of patriotic stitches that I will get to, and we'll talk between now and then. So then my last thing I'm going to show you, and I don't show you this to be like, oh, look what I've done. I really do not. The only reason I'm going through these is because I had a couple people make comments on my Instagram when I showed Lucy Calcott, and I mentioned that it'll go into the bin of unframed. And they said, you need to show all those. And then I had a couple friends at my Thursday group that said, oh, I said, I may show them. And they're like, oh, yeah, show them, because we don't remember. And it's actually sort of, it's like, my husband will say, don't think so highly of yourself. People aren't really thinking that because they're not really thinking about you all the time. So the fact that I would be worried that you guys might feel this is redundant is really just meaning I'm thinking of myself. So forgive me for that. But I also took these to our stitching meetup, and a lot of people said, oh, you need to show those again. So this is going to be a quick parade. I didn't get out the patterns. Hopefully I will remember the name of all of them. This one you've just seen. This is Charlotte Frost by Scarlet House. I finished her March. I finished her. So that's one. This is ES Spot Sampler, which was a unicorn for a lot of people, and recently got McKenna from 1884 Stitchery now has the rights to it, so anybody can stitch it. Go to 1884 Stitchery on Instagram and go in her profile, and you can get her. I think it's just 1884stitchery.com, and you can get this chart. ES Spot Sampler, originally by Of Female Worth. One of my very favorites. The reds on it are just fabulous. This is Ann Topley. I'll have to get this one kind of close. This is by the Scarlet House. Really bright colors. But on this gray linen, it's just fabulous. I don't know what linen all these are. I'd have to look them up. If you really, really want to know, you could leave a comment and say what linen did you use, and I will try to find it. I believe this is a R&R, like a 18th century blackbird or something blackbird linen. I don't know. This is Blackbird. So that was Ann Topley by the Scarlet House. This is Merrily, Merrily We Welcome Spring by Blackbird. They'd be much prettier showing them to you framed, but oh well. This is Charlotte Clayton. This is a museum, and I can't remember, but you can find this chart if you're interested on Victorian Rose Needle Arts. She carries this chart. This is Ghoultide Welcome by Plum Street. I've done Ghoultide, Yuletide, and Liberty Welcome. This is Sarah Casey Unwin. This is by Chessie and Me, I believe. This is Seven Sheep Sampler by Scarlet House. Elizabeth Hunter, also by Scarlet House. We live in a residential, not busy at all road, and we have to have somebody tearing up this street. Well, I'm one of those old people. All Joys for Thine by Blackbird. Jane Baxter with the country sampler conversion for threads. I know Christy from Daisy K's Primitives is working on this, and she was thrilled to get the this is by Victorian Rose Needle Arts, I believe, but the colors it calls for are much brighter. So I think I showed you all these not too long ago. I'm not sure why I'm showing you them again. Elizabeth Watt by Milady's Needle. What is this one called? I always forget this one. Oh. It's a Blackbird. What is this one called? It's not All Joys for Thine. That was the other one. Anyway, you're hollering it at me, so it's available. It's a Blackbird. Maybe I'll think of it. I don't know. This is Snooty Parrots, which I just finished in January by Barbara Anna. This is Mary Good. Sassafras Samplers, which is Sassy Jacks. Elizabeth Manners. Who's this by? Ooh, I don't remember. I'm sorry. Elizabeth Manners. Is it like Samplers Not Forgotten, maybe? I don't want to say it wrong. Elizabeth Manners. American Sampler by Plum Street. I would not have room for all these anyway on my walls. Cece and Me, or Cece Smith. Is it Cece and Me? Keisha, however you pronounce it. Jane Stanwix. There's a couple more in here. I think this is called Winter is Past by Blackbird. A couple of these are Christmas. I'm not going to show you those. Little Red Chair Sampler by Scarlet House. And that's it. I have others, but there's like 5 of them in here that are Christmas. A couple of them are smalls. Someday I'll show you smalls that need to be finished. And I could do that myself. So get off my stuff and do it. All right, ladies, and gentlemen, I think that's all. I hope you're having a great day and a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all of you. Everybody had a mother, whether she's still around or not. Happy Mother's Day. And take time to think about her, honor her, maybe get out some pictures if she's not still around, or spend some time. God knew what he was doing when he invented mothers, because we all need them. Anyway, my mom died when I was 30 years old, so it's been a long time. She would be 111. No. Yeah, that's right. 111, I think. Something like that. Anyway, have a great day and a great weekend, and stay cool. It's starting to get really hot here, so stay cool wherever you are, and I will see you in a couple weeks. Love you. Bye.